I heard this crazy rumor that our church is designing a new budget to include a fund for the visual arts.
Well, that's not really a rumor, it's true. What are your thoughts on the matter?
I'm personally against it. I think that visual arts is a waste of money. Wouldn't it be better spent on community service or new worship instruments?
Yes, you could make that argument. I understand what you're saying, but we already have sufficient funds dedicated to those areas. We as a church board feel that we need to present the congregation with the opportunity to worship visually as well as through acts of service and through song. In short, as a board, we've come to feel that art and worship is to the eyes what music and worship is to our ears.
How can a painting be considered worship? Isn't most of art pagan and, I don't know, like sinful?
We feel that the visual arts bring God's creation into a new light, which will allow people to see His essence in a way that they've never seen before.
Do you mean to say that there are other ways of viewing Scripture? Shouldn't all Scripture be absolute truth?
Well, obviously we believe that Scripture is absolute truth, but we feel that art can open the congregation's eyes to better understand Scripture by allowing them to see as well as hear the Bible story.
Isn't that heresy? What if those images distort truth or become objects of worship? There are people that think Christians worship Mary, and I bet you it's because there are so many images of Mary in the church.
Although I understand your concern, it is not at all our intention with art to create idol worship. We are clearly stating that the intention of the art is to enhance the worship experience. We're not trying to take away from it. Idol worship won't, if done right, this idol worship will not be a concern.
So, how is this art going to enhance worship? I think that all those random lines and colors will distract the worshipers.
Well, you see, the art we're going to bring into the church, it's going to enhance worship by pointing towards God. We're just trying to show His beauty and His essence in a different form. Also, on a similar note, I feel that art will enhance the physical appearance of the church as well, creating a more comfortable atmosphere for people that walk through the church. For example, the hallways now are bare, but wouldn't you feel much better if you were walking through and you could see the Bible story as you were going through the church?
I suppose so. Though I would like to point out that God is the original and perfect creator. How could humans even think that we could possibly come close to that?
Well, obviously we can't. I mean, God is perfect, but that's the true beauty of art, is like art cannot be truth or perfection. But the art we're going to bring in, I mean, art can certainly point to the one who is true and perfect. As we are told in Scripture, be perfect as your Heavenly Father is perfect. And the art that we want to bring in is going to point us towards God.
Wow, I never thought of it like that. I hope that our church doesn't use that old-fashioned stuff, because I feel like that would make Christianity seem old, outdated, and irrelevant to us.
Well, yep, you have a good point there. But those symbols, those old symbols that you're talking about, they do have their place in a service, maybe a liturgical service that makes use of symbols throughout. On the other hand, we are leaning towards using more modern art, which still uses symbols, but the symbols are going to be like less defined, more representational.
Now that we understand the purpose of art and worship, we can discuss what type of art we wish to bring into the church. We would like to incorporate artwork both in the sanctuary and in the hallways of the church.
We will start with the sanctuary. In the sanctuary, we would like to incorporate art that will facilitate worship. We wish to avoid specific biblical stories that might distract from the service. Instead, we will use the colors of the church year from Advent through Easter. We want these colors to flow through paneled murals from back to front. This allows us to look through the life of Christ, ending with the empty cross, reminding us that He rose again and will return. One of our main goals of this art is to help the congregation experience worship completely, combining both liturgical and modern worship styles.
In the hallways, we would like to be more open to biblical and narrative themes. We would like for this artwork to provide teaching tools for the viewer and to remind us of God's story throughout history. We will be considerate of the ages of the viewers so that the congregation can get as much out of the art as possible.
This project will take a number of years to complete and will be done in stages. We will start with the sanctuary, and once that is complete, we will begin selecting artwork for the hallways.
We will use the abilities of local artists to create the art. This will provide a connection to the community and the culture around us.
As we implement these changes, budget cuts from different departments will be necessary.
We've budgeted for a grand total of $4,500 to go towards fine art in the church. This money will be taken from a number of different areas, including our advertising department, which we will take $200 from. $250 will come from the literature department, as we hope that the literature will complement the art in creating an atmosphere of worship and helping our community and our congregation to grow.
$50 will come from our music fund, as again, we hope the art will complement the music in creating an atmosphere of worship. Finally, with you as our congregation giving so generously, our youth department has been blessed with a lot of money this year. $4,000 will come from the youth department to help us purchase art and hire artists. That will leave the youth department with $6,000, which is still a generous amount of money considering the size of the youth department.
With that in mind, that totals out to about $4,500 for the year, which will go towards purchasing fine art for the building. And we hope that this will help our congregation to grow and create a new atmosphere of worship.
Our church wants to direct its funds towards the visual arts because we believe that worship in the visual arts does for the eyes what music does for the ears. We also want to create a visually appealing atmosphere that encourages an atmosphere of worship. This will help us to better admire the beauty of our Creator. This will also help to convey God's truth in a fresh and different light. This will direct us to become more Christ-like.